Hello and welcome back to Dancing Fat Kids. Today, I'm going to be taking us on a journey. Welcome to a step-by-step guide on becoming a man. And to start this guide, I'm going to be talking about a lot of things. Rule number 1 is never say Always be confident in what you are saying. You can't say or any shit like that, or people are not gonna take you seriously. If you keep saying it shows you're indecisive and you don't really know what you're actually saying. You gotta be more confident and kind of put out the fact that you know what you're talking about if you're going to talk about something. You can't expect people to believe what you're saying if you're constantly pausing and going in between anything you say. You just kind of sound like an idiot. You won't be able to convince the people of what you're trying to get across. And to be a real man, you kind of have to be a teacher. You have to take a mentorship role, especially in the family. If you want your kids to prosper, you have to take this kind of mentorship role, and they will have to listen to you. And if you're saying and you're indecisive with your children, you're gonna raise indecisive children. And it could be the downfall of our world, in all honesty. Okay, I'm realizing I skipped a rule here, so here's the real rule 1. Don't let other people tell you things. And if you take that at face value, it's not really a good thing. But what I'm trying to say here is that you should not listen to people who you do not respect. Don't listen to people who you don't want to be. If you're taking advice from these bums, people you don't necessarily want to be like, you're gonna start becoming like them. And if you're listening to what they're saying and acting on what they're saying, you're gonna become more like them. Like, think about the parental role in your life. Your parents have shaped you quite a bit, if you're gonna be honest with yourself. Most of your habits from your childhood come from your parents, and people carry those through their life. So even later in life, this still applies. If you have people talking to you who you don't admire or respect or strive to be like, you're gonna become more like those people you don't want to be. So don't let other people tell you things. Rule number 2 is to stop eating vegetables. Trust me on this one, most vegetables are phallic shaped, and it's kind of gay to be eating something that's phallic shaped. The only vegetables we can excuse for this are broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Those are the only 2 vegetables you want to eat. Broccoli and Brussels sprouts. And think about it too. The snowflake hive mind has been trying to tell you that, like, broccoli and Brussels sprouts are perceived badly in the media. Like, they're showing this stuff to our kids and they're making them not like broccoli and Brussels sprouts when those are things. You have to do things that aren't necessarily good for you in the moment to really set yourself up for the future, and that is shown with broccoli and Brussels sprouts. These things, kids don't think they taste good, but they do a lot for you if you do eat them. Also, what you are what you eat, that saying can go along with this as well. If you're eating phallic shaped things, you're gonna become like a phallic shaped thing. You're gonna be a dick. Can't be eating these like phallic or rod shaped things. Rule number 3 is to never say excuse me. And this applies when you're burping, farting, bumping into people in public. You don't want to be saying excuse me for stuff like that, because it's just naturally happening. Why would you have to excuse yourself from what is natural? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all to me. You shouldn't have to excuse yourself from things that will always happen and will continue happening. It's part of life, so why excuse yourself from it? Look, here's a good example of what you should excuse yourself from. If you notice right now, I've kind of fixed my mic. It was having problems and acting up, making sounds while I'm talking. And that isn't necessarily my fault. I didn't know how to fix that. But as you can tell now, it's better. Rule number 4 is to never wipe your ass. Touching asshole is a feminine trait. Pooping is a feminine trait too, because in reality, Us boys can use all the nutrients, but you also not gotta be negligent. You gotta poop when needed. Just poop less. You wanna be touching your asshole that much? That's gay. That is feminine to be touching yourself down there. It's unexcusable. And also think about it, the poopy particles are getting on your head anyway. That ain't good for you. You gotta stop wiping your ass so often. Stop shitting so often in general. You need the nutrients. You need to get bigger. Always. Rule number 5 is to never sit down on the toilet seat. This is also very feminine. Don't air squat either, cause that shit is gay. Are you kidding me? Are you scared of a little germs or something? It doesn't make sense. Sitting on the toilet seat, you're sitting like you have fucking cooter between your legs. That ain't gonna work out for you. You got a dick. That shit is gonna hit the front side of the toilet seat. Have you not had this happen to you before? Are you that limp dick of an individual where you haven't had that happen to you before? Rule number 6 is to shoot rifles. This is pretty self-explanatory. Guns are synonymous with your manliness, especially so in the US. If you don't have a gun, if you're not toting after you hit 18, you ain't a real man. You're just playing around. You're a kid still, honestly. If you don't have a gun, you gotta shoot rifles. It's part of growing up here in the US. You gotta keep your strap with you, that's it. Rule number 7 is to shoot birds out of the sky with these rifles. And hear me out on this. Being skilled at something makes you more attractive. Women are gonna be more drawn to you if you're skilled at something, especially something like hunting and gathering. Because humans back then, we had to hunt and gather, and we still kind of do have to hunt and gather in a way, but it's much easier now. Men used to have to be down on their sorry, no, I almost used a gay alliteration or whatever the hell it's called. Men had to work for the family back in the day. And they still do, yeah, but they definitely had to put in more work to feed their entire family back when you didn't have shit like grocery stores. And it's just manly being able to bring stuff home for your family and providing for your family. That's something every man has to do. Number 8 is to learn how to backflip. This is impressive, and honing a skill can teach you the patience and pain, especially learning how to backflip. Think of how many times you're gonna fail the backflip and hurt yourself, and that's just part of growing in that sense. That's part of being better at being able to backflip is you gotta learn from your mistakes. And in life, learning from your mistakes is part of being a man. Women don't necessarily learn from their mistakes. You'll see these grown women making the same mistakes over and over. And even most of them be blaming it on a man. And it isn't a man's fault in any way. It's just these women not taking responsibility. As a man, you gotta be responsible. Learning how to backflip, you gotta be responsible for that. If you don't learn how to backflip, you aren't responsible after you started to practice for it. If you give up halfway, that's irresponsible. And instead of telling you the next rule, I'm having a guest speaker come on. A man who really knows his stuff and knows the steps he took to become a man. Welcome, Cracker Boy Fly 47. And I'm gonna first start by asking you, what do you think a Sigma male is?
What is a Sigma? Good question. Good question. I'm an answer to the best of my abilities. When I'm trying to determine true natures, the most frustrating common classmate as such. And when you look at me and you hate Elon Musk the Joker, you can find that the one thing we all
What are your thoughts on the alpha male mentality? Don't you think more of these alpha males should strive to become sigma males? I feel like it would be better for the male population if these alpha males would get over themselves. And do you have anything to say about our next rule in a step-to-step guide on becoming a man? Our rule number 9 says, go up to girls no matter what. What I have to say about this is that it's good practice for when you see a bitch and you actually want to be in a relationship with her. Even these girls you are not necessarily attractive to, you can lead them on and make them think that you love them, and that will just help you when you really love a girl. Not everything has to be handed to you. You gotta build this character. You gotta build up your charisma. What do you have to say about it?
The mainstay of being a man, a sigma male, is conquest. Spreading your ideals, your seed, your personhood as far as you can, and that is precisely why I approach everyone I see. A commoner, a noble, a king's daughter, I would inseminate them all. Spreading my seed, having my children be far and wide, carry on my genetic code. This is humanity, this is the nature of man, and I am simply fulfilling my role as sigma man. I fuck fat bitches, I fuck skinny bitches, I fuck poor bitches, I fuck rich bitches, I fuck every bitch I can find to spread my seed far and wide, to inseminate every female I see around, to carry on my genetic code, my personhood, my family, my lineage. I want to inseminate every blonde I see and to breed them.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for sharing, Mr. Crackerboy47. You told us what we need to know in order to become a better man, and that's just what I want from you. Very nice. Thank you for tuning in to a step-by-step guide on becoming a man. I'll get back to you later with more tips. We got over 100 rules in this step-by-step guide, 100 steps. So keep tuned in. We only touched the first 9 in this episode. Thank you.